Hi, my name is William Mangan, and this is my COMM 203 speech 3 called Reshaping Capitalism for the Future. And here is my keyword outline. Now, according to an article from the New York Times a year ago, the gap between the rich and the poor is not only leading to income inequality, but it is also leading to a longer life expectancy for the rich and shorter for the poor. This quote is saying that the income inequality in our country is directly leading to death in our country because the poor people do not have enough access to the things that they need to survive, and the rich people do. And this is probably why, as children, we all look to be the billionaire. We always want to be Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk because we see how much power that they have, and we want to kind of take hold of that and understand what it feels like to be in that position. But the reality is, other than about 600 Americans, we're not going to know what that feeling is. According to inequality.org, America's top 10% of wealthy Americans earns 9 times the amount of money than the bottom 90% of Americans. Not only is this not shocking, but it's insane that there are people out there that have so much money that they have more power than almost 30% of our country, 40% of our country. And there needs to be an end to this, and it's by reshaping capitalism for the future. Now, this is also leading to a form of political turmoil, which we've been seeing for at least 10 years now, and an imbalance of power because the Republicans and the Democrats and the people in the Senate and Congress, they're not looking to fight for each other anymore. They're looking to fight against each other, to be right, to feel like they did the right side of the future, but they're not making sure that they make progress. And that's why capitalism is almost kind of halted in this position, and we don't know what to do now. Education and some sort of societal outlook for the future is critical for the benefit of capitalism and its future in general. So, as I just stated, education is probably the most important thing. According to the Hetchinger report, from the decade 2001 to 2011, the funding gap between the rich and the poor grew 44% over a decade. This means that the richest 25% of school districts spent $1,500 more per student on average than the poorest 25% of school districts. Now imagine what you can do with that money. Imagine how much power you have just through the $1,500. Imagine implementing that into your educational system. That's our divide. That's how we are so different at this point, is because we have such a different form of education than other students, especially racial minorities. So along with this proves that capitalism's main problem is we feel like we have everyone on the same foot, but in the end that we don't, because we don't have a form of equity. And in fact, we have inequity. People that had the benefits at the beginning still reap those benefits, and you can see that by the billionaires. Segregation is always still going to be prevalent in our country until we reshape capitalism into a way where it's not. While I don't believe that, 99% of our country is racist anymore, where it may have been at a time, it's still shocking that those people that suffered back then are still suffering now just because of the system that we live in. All this education, all the educational problems are leading to a form of disbelief in our capitalistic system. What are we supposed to do with this? Time magazine only says that 19% of young Americans aged 18 to 29 identify themselves as capitalists. Only a little over 50% of the population believes in the capitalistic system. So we're no longer sure on what our purpose is with capitalism. We've forgotten about the Cold War. We don't remember why capitalism is so tempting in the first place, and it's going to lead to a form of corruption for as long as we live until someone fixes it. Time magazine also states in a different article that the company Apple Inc. has over $200 billion sitting in the bank, and yet they still borrow money in order to not pay taxes on the money that they spend from their actual account. Now, this is actually a smart tactical move by Apple Inc., but in reality, Apple is only stealing from the people like us. They're stealing from the customers, us most importantly. They're stealing from the banks. They're stealing from other competitors that are working against them because now they have an advantage. And they're also hurting the federal government, the people that get those taxpayers' money at the end of the day. These big corporations are leading to less and less opportunities for growth, and there needs to be some way to fix this for the future. CNN Business also states that creativity and new businesses have decreased over the last 10 years. Over 614,000 new businesses were created in 2006, whereas 450,000 were created in 2014. Now, you can take this as just a stat, as what it is, but I take it from a more personal perspective of Amazon, Google, Disney. They have become so popular that when we do come up with a new idea, we sell it to them. We find the easy way out when we don't innovate and we create to push it even further, to reinvest it back into our community. Instead, we're just giving it to a big company, and it's going to continue to reap the benefits for them and not us through capitalism. We need new ideas. We need to innovate and have ingenuity in our ideas, or else it's going to be too late before the real problems start occurring. And for the solution, we need to find a way for the money to come to those who need it. And the Othering and Belonging Institute from the University of Cal Berkeley has come up with a 6-step process on what are the most important things to fix in our society to help lower the gap between the rich and the poor and fix capitalism. And I've taken out the 4 most important to myself, and I'm going to share them with you right now. The first one being the minimum wage argument. The fact that minimum wage hasn't changed for so long is astounding to me, because the people that are the poorest, the people that keep suffering over and over again, the people that are only getting poorer and poorer are the ones that haven't had a change in pay. So the person that doesn't get educated, that grows up in the slums, that's trying to get out of the slums, is going to be forced to work at a place that doesn't give enough pay to them in the first place. We need some form of tax reform. The fact that Jeff Bezos and I don't pay a great enough percentage from the opposite of each other in terms of income is insane to me. Well, $100 in the grocery store for me might be a lot of money. $100 for Jeff Bezos, he could breathe and he could remake it just based on how rich he is. So we need to fluctuate the tax system where Jeff Bezos pays enough, but I pay enough. And so that we're all paying an equal amount that eventually levels us out to be the same. We need to reinvest back into our educational system. And I stated this before, but it is so critical to our society. If we do not do it, we're just going to keep the cycle over and over again, where the people that benefited from the start are just going to continue to do it, and the people that didn't are not. And finally, segregation. And while I believe that 99% of the country is no longer racist, I really do believe that. In my heart, I don't have full confidence that our system has benefited those people to the fullest. And we need to push that as much as possible until our government leaders make a change into that. In conclusion, I don't believe the billionaires are bad people. I don't believe that big companies and having really good ideas is a bad thing. The problem is the system that we live in has made those really good ideas the only ideas, and that we can't build onto those ideas with better ideas to help the people that are poor, middle class, and rich all together. We're only helping the rich. We're only helping that 0.1%. We need to fix education. We need to find a way to have real discussion with our political leaders and connect to them on real levels. And we need to have some form of action. We need someone to push that ball in the Newton's cradle and to take that next step to really see what our future holds. And if we do that, I really do believe that capitalism can be saved. But it's looking a little glum right now, and our government leaders really need to step up and show that our society is bound to have success in the future through capitalism. Thanks, and Giggum.